Welcome back, everyone. We have a great guest. We have Jason from Ingested. How are you doing today?
I'm all right. I'm in a very good mood. I'm very excited. We've got a new album coming out. We've got a tour coming up. So yeah, I'm in good spirits.
That's
How are
always good.
you?
I'm great. I'm doing great. Well, let's get into this. You guys are going to release your seventh studio record. How has your guys' writing and recording approach changed since the first record?
Oh, since the first record. Oh my
Mhm.
God, it's totally different. Like that
Yeah.
was like when was that? 2009 our first album came out. Like that was a long time ago. I mean, the recording's way different
Mhm.
because now obviously we actually know what we're doing. Whereas back in the day we were just like a load of teenagers just in a we were in we were in some studio that was on a farm in the middle of nowhere, like down south in the UK. And we had to live in the studio as well for like 9 days, I think. And it was like we were basically living off super noodles and microwavable pizzas. Like
That's
and we had
crazy.
no idea what we were doing at all. Whereas now, we pretty much we have the album the songs are written like a year before we even go into the studio.
Mm.
So now it's like we basically spend a year demoing and tweaking and tinkering with the songs until we're like, right, okay, this is ready, let's go in the studio, let's record it, and then we'll get the album recorded in like 5-6 days, and it'll be done. Like, and then you can spend like 2 more days, like, just, oh, I better redo this line, I better like redo that. Oh, is that riff right? Yeah, like, because we've already done all the hard work. Like, do you know what I mean? And we've been practicing and demoing the songs for like 12 months. So then by the time we just go in the studio, it's just like muscle memory. It's just bang, you just get it done. Um, as far as the writing, back in the day when we did like the first albums and stuff, it was like our mindset was very much let's write 10 bangers and just put
Yeah.
them on a CD. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas now, I mean, that was great. That was great for the time and stuff. Whereas now it's like, yeah, we want 10 bangers, but
Mhm.
we're so much more conscious of the album, like not the story of the album, not as in like it's got a narrative going through
Yeah.
it. I don't mean that. I mean like the journey that the album takes you on. So
Yeah.
if you listen to the album in its entirety from start to finish, it's got a clear beginning, middle, end, and like the journey that the album and the songs take you on. It's got peaks and troughs and ebbs and flows, and then there's a calm in the center of the storm, and then you come back out into the whirlwind, and then it's spinning and spinning, and then as you get to the very last song, A Path Once Lost, it
Yeah.
just fades you out into the sunset, into safety.
Hey, that makes sense though. With you talking like that, so how do you guys do like the process of picking the track order?
Oh, that takes ages. we, we spend more time on that than writing the actual songs. No, it's just all about. It's like I said, it's about the journey. It's about the
Yeah.
story. So every song that is in its place and in that order, but completely by design. And the album is designed to listen to in one go.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
designed that you listen to it in one go. All the songs are bangers, and you can
Mhm.
listen to them completely standalone, and they all stand individually great.
Yeah.
So you can listen to them in your Spotify playlists on shuffle or whatever it is. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's fine, but the idea of it is that it is a complete album. It's a total like piece of work. So when we're figuring out the track listing. It's something that we spend weeks to months on, and it's like sometimes we'll even go, right, this song just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Let's take it out, and we'll just take the song out, and then we'll put another song in there because we've just
Mhm.
got because our guitarist just writes for days, like he just writes forever, like so we've just got tons and tons and tons of songs or song ideas or riff ideas that we can just pull from and just go, well, what about that riff in that song that you wrote whenever?
Mhm.
Let's have a listen to that riff and see if that would work with the feel of this album or the point that we're at in the album. Like maybe we write a new song. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's plenty of back and forth about it. There's plenty of like not arguments, but like plenty of like debates between the three of us about which songs should go here and what order. And it, like I said, it just sometimes it takes weeks, sometimes it takes months,
I bet.
but like we get there in the end. And the thing is, all three of us have to be happy with it.
Oh yeah.
Like none of it, we're never gonna just do something just because it's like, oh well, it's 2 against 1. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's never like that. It's
That's
always like we all three of us have to be happy with it. And if one of us isn't happy with it, then we'll change it until
that
we
makes
all
sense
are.
though.
Like, do you know what I mean?
That makes sense though. And then you guys did 10 tracks for this record. Did
Hmm.
any like not make it on this record that you guys thought would but didn't?
Yeah, there was a song that I thought was going to make it on there. But it's not that. It's a really good song, but it just didn't fit the flow of the album.
Yeah.
So we were like, all right, well then we've got a song in the pipe. Like we'll leave it there, and then one day we'll come back to it, or maybe one day we'll write an album and we're like, oh, we need a song, like, and then we'll go, oh, what about that one? That one was a tune. Do you know what I mean? Like, so yeah,
Yeah.
there was a couple of songs that didn't make it on. But I think the track listing and the track order that we've got for the Tide of Death and Fractured Dreams, the final version of it is, I think it's spot on.
I think it flows great. I've listened to it a few times now. It flows perfectly. There's not like any moment like, well, I'm like, what? This song doesn't fit here. It flows perfectly. You guys did a great job with that.
Thanks. I'm glad to hear it as well. I'm glad to hear it.
And then you guys had a harder approach with this one compared to the last record. Were any of the songs from the like that didn't make it on the last record make it on this record, but you guys reworked them?
There was definitely riffs and riff ideas. I don't know whether any actual full songs ended up being on this, but I know that some of these songs were written before some of the songs on the last album, or at least some of the ideas for these songs were before, because the way that we write when we're just writing is it's just a constant circle of writing and constant circle of creativity, because there's all these songs like in the merry-go-round all the time. It's like maybe they're not specifically for an album. Do you know what I mean? Or maybe that idea is just an idea at the moment, but then like you'll come back to it and go, oh no, that was a sick idea. Like, let's work with that and see what we can do with that. So there was definitely ideas, or at least like a couple of riffs that just didn't feel right with Ashes because of the way that album was. But yeah, there was definitely song ideas that are on the Tide of Death and Fractured Dreams that predate songs that were written for Ashes Lie Still. But that's just how it is when you're constantly writing. Do you know what I mean? It's like some things make it to an album, some things don't. But then it's like we'll never like just scrap song ideas or anything. We'll always like keep a recording of it just in case. Do you know what I mean?
Of course.
Just in case it fits one day. Like so.
And you guys are talking about how you guys consistently write. Do you see Ingested getting heavier, or you guys think you guys are going to stay where you're at for now?
I don't know. I mean, the direction that it's going at the moment with this album is definitely heavier than the last. But we never really set out to do something like that, if you know what I mean. We're never just like, oh, this album's got to be like this, or this song's got to be like this. It's just we just write whatever we want. We're the type of band that we just do this for us. Do you know what I mean? We write the music that we want to hear, and it's amazing that we have fans all over the world and stuff that love what we do, and that's like such a great feeling. But to be brutally honest, we're writing music that we want to hear, so it's like we're never like, oh, will the fans like this, or oh, will this get us on the radio or anything like that. We've never given a shit about that. It's just like we're just like, yo, this will be sick. Do you know what I mean? And that's always been the mentality.
Like that. I think more bands should be like that, because if you don't write for yourself, then what you're really just writing for your fans. Like, you're supposed to write for yourself first, you know? So that makes sense.
Totally. I mean, the reason why we do this is because we love it. Do you know what I mean? Like, we just love making the exact type of music that we want to hear whenever we want to hear it. So it's like the day that we start worrying about what other people think of us, or what other people think of our music, or anything like that, is like, that's the day that it's dead. Do you know what I mean? Like, what's the point in doing it if you're doing it for someone else? Like, and for us, that's just, we can't do that. That's never been us, and that'll never be us. So like, when you ask like, oh, are you going in a direction or whatever, the truth is, I don't know. It just depends depends on how we feel at the time. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, because I think that's the good thing about our approach and our attitude
Mhm.
to us writing music and the music that we play is all of our albums, although they all sound like Ingested.
Yeah.
Um, I think they all have their own character and their own personality, and they're all the one that came before is different from the one that comes after it. And I think that's because obviously we started when we were so young.
Mhm.
Like, do you know what I mean? We were teenagers when we started, and on our first album, it was like we were just trying to be the heaviest, most brutal, like make the craziest music that we could. And the way I like to describe it is like back then we had a toolbox, and on that first album, we only had one tool in it, and it was a big sledgehammer. Right. And for the time, that was great. That was great because it did the job. Do you know what I mean? It did the job. It made the music that we wanted to hear at the time. But as we've progressed through our career and as we've released album after album after album, and we've gained this experience and this knowledge as songwriters and just as people in general, what's happened is with each album, we've added one or two new tools, different tools for different jobs. And then as that's progressed, now we're in 2024. We're about to release The Tide of Death and Fractured Dreams. And now Ingested's got a massive toolbox filled with fucking loads of tools that are all for different jobs. And it's freed us up creatively. So now we can do even more shit that we want to do that maybe we couldn't do 10 years ago just simply because we didn't know how to do it.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's just crazy how long you guys you've been doing this because like,
Yeah, I know.
and then you guys have, like I said, a lot of records and EPs. How often do you see yourself changing the set list once this new record comes out?
Oh, well, it depends. This is the thing. It depends because if it's support tours, like you're only going to get about half an hour.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit difficult there because it's sort of like you've got to play some crowd pleasers, but obviously you want to play some new stuff as well to get people hyped for the new stuff. But when it's a headline tour like what we're about to go on, you're playing for about an hour, which is sick because like this tour, we're playing 3 songs off the new album. And then the rest is we've just picked like certified bangers from loads of different, like 6 of our albums, like in
Yeah.
our discography, which is fucking crazy because like some of these songs we've like not played in years, which is really exciting because I'm looking forward to playing them. Do you know what I mean? It's like seeing an old friend. So I think like when we do headline shows, we'll definitely be able to mix it up a lot more, which is what we've done on this tour.
Yeah.
So yeah, like we'll be throwing in some weird songs that we've like sometimes some of them we've never played live before and stuff. So
Mm,
yeah, it just depends on whether it's headline or support. If it's support, you're gonna get the classics and some new ones.
yeah.
If it's a headline tour, you might get some deep cuts that you weren't expecting.
Nice. That's pretty cool though. And is there any songs you're looking forward to like performing live?
Yeah, Divine Right of Kings. Because I've
Nice.
not played it for years. Like, I've not played it for years, and I'm well looking forward to playing it. That's a song from ages ago. I think that's from like 2014. I think that's about 10 years old, that song, maybe. Might even be earlier. And obviously the new songs,
Of
like
course.
Paragon of Purity, we played that on the Lorna Tour show the Lorna Shore tour that we did in November last year. So
Yeah.
we sneakily stuck that in and just didn't tell anyone what it was because obviously it didn't come out until like January or whatever. And
Yeah.
we were just like, oh, let's just play the new one. I can't wait. So we
Hey, at
just
least you
stuck
got
that
to
in.
experience that. That's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
exactly. Exactly. We just stuck it in. We didn't even tell anyone it was a new song or anything. We just didn't even announce it, just opened with it and was like, yeah. But obviously, I'm excited to play Pantheon as well, which is our
Yeah.
latest single. Never played that live. And we're going to play another one, Endless Machine, which
Nice.
is the song where the album title comes from. There's a line in that song. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to play the new ones, and I'm excited to play Divine Right of Kings.
That's gonna be cool. And then you guys played with a lot of amazing tour lineups already. If you could pick a dream tour lineup, what would you pick?
Ooh, what for us to be on?
Yes, of course.
Probably me personally, probably Slipknot, Pantera, and Lamb of God.
Nice. That'd be sick, dude. That'd be very interesting. I think a lot of people get injured in the pit for that one, but hey,
Yeah.
it's worth it, right?
Yeah, of course it is. That's what it's all about.
And then you guys have toured with a lot of bands. What do you learn from touring with them?
I learned lots. One of the biggest lessons that I've learned is to just treat everyone with respect. Like treat everyone with respect. Make sure that if it's your tour, that everyone feels comfortable approaching you about stuff. Like if they need anything, just check that everyone's all right all the time.
Yeah.
Because I've been on tour with bands that weren't approachable and bands that had like a bit of a shit attitude and stuff,
Yeah.
like, back in the day. And that always left a shit feeling. Do you know what I mean? Because then you're out there and you're just like, oh, well, I can't, like, something isn't right or whatever. It's like, oh, well, I can't even talk to them about it. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But then I've been on tour with other bands like Cannibal Corpse and Lorna Shore and Crowbar, where it's like they're super approachable. Like, do you know what I mean? They're always like, "Oh, you guys all right? You got everything you need?" Like, do you know what I mean? Their crew will always help you out and stuff. And it's like it's night and day. And that for me, that was something that I've always took
Yeah.
like to heart and been like, when we're on tour, I'm always going to be like that. Do you know what I mean? With the bands that we take out on our tours, I'm like, look, guys, if there's ever anything, come and find me. Come find me. Come talk to me. Like, if you need anything, just let me know. Do you know what I mean? And we'll see what we can do for you. Like, if there's anything I can do, like, don't ever feel like you can't approach me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I don't know, it's just like it just makes it so much easier for everyone because you got to remember everyone's in the same boat.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Everyone's away from home, they're away from family, they're missing the family and the friends and shit. And yeah, it's like it's great fun, like, but it is hard as well. Do you
Mhm.
know what I mean? It's like I said, you are away, so
Yeah.
if you can make things easier for people, I think that's like super important. So yeah, I'd say that's the biggest thing I've took from like touring with other bands.
That's pretty cool. And then what's crazy about this new record, well, with any of your records, you have some wild song names. How do you pick the song names?
Well, it depends. It depends on what the song's about.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like sometimes it could just be a line in the song that kind of summarizes what the whole song's about or the concept of the song. Or sometimes it might not even the song title might not even be in the song. Do you know what I mean? It's just it simply just depends on what the song's about, really. I like my titles to be like snappy as well. Do you know what I mean? It's got to feel good when you say it. Do you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, I'd say it just depends what it's about.
And then you guys had two guest vocalists on this record. How'd you pick what songs you wanted those two guys to be on?
Well, what it is the way we do guest vocals. I think we do it a bit different than other bands,
Mhm.
because I think in this scene especially, there's one thing that I can't stand, and it's like, like when a song comes out and you see it and it's like whatever band featuring this vocalist, and you're like, oh, cool,
Yeah.
sick, and then you put it on and then 3 minutes go by and you're like, where's this fucking vocalist? Like, do you know what I mean? Where the fuck is he? And then it's like 15 or 20 seconds at the end of the song, and it's like a fucking breakdown or something. And then they come on and do like 15 seconds of growling, and you're just like, well, and then the song ends, and you're just like, what's the fucking point? Like, what is the point in that? Like, what a
That's
waste of
true.
time. You've wasted everybody's time. And it's like, to me, it's like, I just think it's like artistically barren.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's just nothing there. Like, what is the point? And then
It's
and then
weird.
I'm just going, you've literally just done this for clout. Do you know what I mean? All you wanted was that vocalist's name in your fucking song title so you can get a better fucking Spotify algorithm or a better fucking click rate on your fucking YouTube video. And it just sucks. I just think it sucks. Like, so for us, it's like when we pick a vocalist, they're gonna be on the whole song because they're a part of the song. Because it's like if you look at the fucking Billboard chart or whatever, say Beyonce does a song and it's like Beyonce and Lady Gaga. It's not like Beyonce singing for 3 minutes and then there's a
Yeah.
breakdown at the end and Lady Gaga comes on. Do you know what I mean? They're on
Right.
the whole song. Like,
Yeah.
so that's how we do it. But the other thing is that when we pick a guest vocalist, we're picking them because of who they are as a vocalist, not like their name or whatever, but I
Yeah.
mean like their personality as a vocalist, like how they deliver their vocals, the sound of their vocals, and for that to work, then that means that the song has to complement them and elevate them as much as they elevate and complement the song. So it like needs to work with who they are as a vocalist. It can't just be any song. It has to make sense like to us. So we've always wanted to work with Josh from
Mhm.
Silosis because we've known him for years.
Yeah.
Because we came up through the same UK scene, like at the same time. Like, so we've known him for years and wanted to work with him for years, but the right song has never come up.
Mhm.
And because we're not just going to go, oh, we want to work with Josh, let's write a song that'll fit Josh. Like, we wouldn't do that because that's not how we write. So basically what we'd have to do is just wait until a song came along. And then when we were putting this album together, Expect to Fail came along.
Nice.
And we were just like, this is the one. Yo, Josh is going to sound amazing on this. This would be perfect. Like, so then we contacted him and he was like, yeah, send me the song. Like, sent it back a couple of hours later and it was done. And it was amazing. So yeah, and then with Mark Hunter, it was a little bit different because we had never had any contact with Mark Hunter, but Chimera is such an important band to me and Sean. To us, like, Impossibility of Reasons, like one of the top 5 metal albums of all time. Like, it's such an important record to us. And it's like, like how you have that bucket list and you're always like, oh, that would be cool. But you don't, but it's never going to happen. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you just like, it's one of them pipe dream things. That's what we thought with Mark Hunter. We were like, oh yeah, it'd be sick to have Mark Hunter. Like, but like, it'll never happen because we don't know him. Like, do you know what I mean? And then weirdly enough, when we were in the studio recording the album, we went for a break and went to a gas station to get some snacks and drinks and that. And and Sean was on Twitter on his phone and he's like, oh my God, Mark Hunter's just like tweeted about us or retweeted or whatever. I'm not on Twitter, so I don't know. I don't understand what it is. It's like, he said something about us anyway. And I'm like, Mark Hunter from Chimera? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, fuck off. Like, no way. And so Sean messaged him and was just like, yo, thank you so much for the kind words. Like, that, honestly, that's made our day. Like we're huge fans. So like, that means the world to us. And Mark just messaged back and was like, no worries, man, love the band. And we were like, yeah, he loves the band. And then a few days later, I'd finished recording the vocals for In Nothingness. And I'm sitting there and I'm listening to it on repeat. And there was just something missing from the song. And I couldn't put my finger on what it was. So I'm just constantly listening to it over and over and over again. And I'm just like, something missing. And then it gets to the chorus. And I ask our engineer, Nico, I'm like, oh, just put this section on loop. Like, loop this section. Just keep repeating this. So I'm listening to it over and over again. And I think because it must have been in the back of my mind because of obviously Sean having that conversation with him on Twitter. And then I can, like, when the chorus is playing, I can, like, in my head, I can hear like Mark Hunter singing it. And I'm like, oh shit. And then like I'm telling the guys, and then our drummer Lynn says to Sean, like, why don't you just message him and ask him? Like, what's the worst he can say? No.
Yeah.
And then if he says no, doesn't he? Like, do you know what I mean? But if you don't ask, you'll never know. Like, so Sean was like, okay, I'll ask him then. And he just messaged him and said, we're in the studio. We've just finished the song. We think, like, you'd really shine on it. We were wondering if you want to collaborate with us. And he was like, send me the song. So we sent it in. A couple of days later, he sent it back and it was amazing. It was like it was even better than I imagined it in my head. I was just like, holy shit, like this proper like Chimera shit, man. Like, so yeah, it was buzzing. That's how that came about. It was a bit weird because like usually we only have guest vocalists with like friends or people that we know, and that's not usually how we work. But it was one of them where it's sort of like, this opportunity might not come along again. Like, better ask. Like, so felt like it was meant to be.
That's fucking crazy, man. And I'll ask you one final question. For someone checking out Ingested for the first time, what 3 records would you suggest them to check out?
I would suggest you to check out Where Only Gods May Tread, The Architect of Extinction, And our newest album, The Tide of Death and Fractured Dreams, out April the 5th through
Nice.
Metal Blade Records. Get your pre-orders in now through ingested.co.uk.
Nice. And then where can everyone keep up with you?
On all the social medias, really. I mean, we're on all of them. Just search Ingested. We're on Instagram, Twitter. I'm assuming we're on Facebook. We're on. I think we've even got a TikTok. I'm not a social media guy,
Yeah.
like, so I have an Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram. I'm the Slam King, but I don't post very often. I only post things that I think are cool, which every now and again. Like, but yeah, we've got a YouTube channel. I've got a YouTube channel, so you can follow me
Perfect.
on there, like when I do post random
Perfect.
shit up. But yeah, if you want tickets for any of our shows all over the world, or you want to pre-order the brand new album, just go to our website, ingested.co.uk, and follow all the links for there and get all the good stuff.
Perfect. Thank you for being on my show, dude.
No worries. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Well, I'm gonna end the show. See you guys next interview.